Hello, my name is Michael Nguyen. I'm an author of the book Stop Losing Customers Again, leading authority on how to land new clients, reactivating lost customers for immediate profit windfall, and how to stop losing customers ever again. And I am also the CEO of Produce Results Agency, a marketing agency which has helped clients double their assets from $500 million to over $1 billion, and also achieve the highest ROI of over 4,000% for the financial industry in the shortest amount of time, in 90 days. Here you go, the screenshot showing that we help double our client asset from $545 million to over $1 billion. And this is the screenshot from our clients proving that we achieve over 4,198% ROI in just 90 days. Regardless of if you are the right fit at this time, I promise your time on this webinar today will be worth it, because here's what you are going to discover as we go through the process today. You will learn about, number one, 6 reasons why your customers stop buying from you, and 2, why finding new customers every day should not be your number 1 priority, and lastly, why reactivating this type of customers increases your profit exponentially. If you are the right fit, as you realize when you watch these webinars and listen to everything that I'm discussing here, then you want to move forward with us. Then toward the end of these webinars, I'm going to give you a specific link to fill out the preliminary survey, and then we can set up a time to do a discovery process to determine if it makes sense for us to help you. For example, these are some of the clients that we love to work with. Like for example, we have a client send out 127 letters and to the lost client, and 27% of them responded, resulting in over $10,000 in sales. And we help a client launch a campaign so successfully that he had to delay further advertisings. And it's not bragging, but I want to share with you this trophy case one more time. This is the highest ROI for over 4,000% for a client in the financial industry in just 90 days. Okay, so let's get started. So we are going to review about the 6 reasons why your customers stop buying from you, and the hint is that price is not the number 1 reason. So I will start from the bottom up, which is the reason number 6, right? And apparently reason number 6 is about the price. Maybe your price is too expensive, and that's why the customers are not coming back. All right, so go to the number 5 reason, because they are moving out to a new place, new location, new city, new country, or whatnot. So that's why they would rather do business with local business than with you. The number 4th reason is that you have a lousy service. Apparently that's easy to understand, because who would want to have a bad experience? And reason number 3 is that you have a lousy product, right? And your product doesn't solve the problems, so that's why they don't come back. And the number 2 reason is that there are so many choices out there. There are many alternatives out there, and that's why they don't come back, because your product is replaced by something else. And the number 1 reason why a customer don't return is because they just forgot about you. And so here's a recap about the 6 reasons why customers don't return. We're talking about from the price, when they move away, lousy service, lousy products, when they have new resources, and the number 1 reason is that they forget about you. So I believe that it is your responsibility to remind customers to do business with you. Again, this is your responsibility to remind customers to do business with you. And so let me talk quickly about who is the lost customers. Lost customers are someone who have bought from you in the past but not returned when expected. Someone bought from you and not returned when expected. That's what we call lost customers. And because of that, many will be hesitant to return without invitation, and people are embarrassed without having about having unplugged and need to be made to feel welcome again. Imagine like if they're not visiting your business for a while, and they got to have something that push them, or some sort of like invitation to bring them back, have a reason, have an excuse to bring them back. Let's start with number 2, is that why finding new customers every day should not be your number 1 priority. I talked to a lot of business owners, and they share with me that their number 1 priority that they wake up thinking about every single day is how to find new customers. The number 1 priority, how to find new customers. However, they did not realize that the odds of finding new customers are stacked against them. The odds are stacked against them, and here's the reason why. According to Forbes, new customers cost 5 times more than the existing one. New customer costs 5 times more than the existing one. And here's the graph that I acquired, that the cost to acquire customers across different marketing channels, from direct mail, outdoor advertising, LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, Pandora ads, TV ads, and so on and so forth, they are rising. The probability of selling to an existing customers is 60 to 70%, more than triple than that of selling to new prospects, only between 5 to 20%. We are in a time where the labor costs are running at a record high. Labor costs are running record highs, and the inflation's of 9.1%, the hardest rate in more than 40 years. So you got inflation, you got high labor costs. Next is I want to tell you a story about the tales of 2 brick and mortar business owners, right? So you have owner number 1 named Jack. Jack wants to grow his business by 10% this year. Unfortunately, he's losing about 25% of business every single year, and so to meet the goal of growing by 10%, he would need to grow by 35% top line. Now, on the other hand, we have another owner named Jill. Jill also shared the same goal with Jack of growing revenue by 10%, but then she only loses about 5% of business, and as a result, she only needs to increase about 15% of her top line business to make up for the 10%. Now, let's brainstorm a little bit on what it takes to grow a 35% revenue. So you need to hire more employees in this tight labor market that we just talked about on LinkedIn. A record high labor cost. You and your employee or your team need to work longer hours, and you need more capitals for materials and trainings, and you also need to increase your marketing budget. As we mentioned earlier, the cost of customer acquisition across all marketing channels are increasing, and as a result, you need to increase your marketing budget as well. Now, when you are having an aggressive goal of growing by 35%, it is easier to have quality issues, because you have to meet the demand, and you have to you have lots of orders to fill, and that's why it will lead to more quality issues. And what happened to the employee morale when you have more work, when they have more work to do, they work long hours and for the same paycheck, right? And eventually they will leave, or it will lead to more issues. So now on the flip side, let's brainstorm. Let's talk about what would be the easier alternative. Now, for owner Jack, who's unfortunately losing about 25% of customers on every single years, and needs to raise his top line revenue by 35%. So instead of going through all of the troubles and the headaches of hirings, more money for marketings, quality issues, high labor costs, and so on and so forth, Wouldn't it be easier if by narrowing the gap from 25% to something lower, might be 5 or 10%, something lower. Basically, we stop the bleeding, and that's the reason why finding new customers should not be your number one priority. Now, if you just twist the order a little bit just by reducing the churn rate in your business, then you can turn around easier. So besides the reason of finding new customers every day should not be your number one priority, I'd like to talk about number 3 is that why reactivating this type of customers increases your profit exponentially. So what's special about this type of customers? Because number one, they are not visible to the human eye. They are buried deep inside the data, and even if you were to identify them, you wouldn't know what pricing point to offer, and ultimately you'll be unable to identify adjacent opportunities. And we are the only one who can perform this type of analysis to help you pinpoint the type of customers who can help you increase the profit exponentially. Here's a case study. So in this case study, this is a case study of real life customers. We were able to analyze about 1,323 customers. They have a total sales of over $2.3 million with the average order size of $1,791. So let's look at this graph. So let me explain what's going on from the chart, right? So the blue colors, basically we tabulated from the real data. The black color is basically the projected line that what the buyer should be, what the sales should be. Now when the two lines intercept, that's why you see the little pinkish kind of area, which I call the profitable chasm, and you see the number of 2,500. Now this is I call the magic numbers, right? So what it means is this is the minimum amount that each customer should buy from you. The minimum amount that each customer should buy from you. Now let me pause a minute to think about the impact of knowing about your business profitable chasm. So let me ask you this. What does it mean for your business when you know this insight? And what would you do differently in marketing and operations when you know that your customers are not spending up to $2,500? What would you do differently? And if you did not have enough offers to reach a $2,500 point, what additional product or services would you create to solve your customers' pain? Right? So those are just some initial questions to get you going. What the key is when you know these numbers, you know you have a baseline to track, and the goal is that to make sure that your customers spend at the minimum that amount of money or more. Okay. Next, I want to share with you this chart. Now let me explain what's going on. There's multiple colors in here. So the red line color on top, right? It is called the maximum revenue of each pricing point. Now let's start with the green one. The green one. You see the green area? If you look at down below, the price point is between $3,000 to $6,000. Now the green area indicated that you have reached the full revenue potential. You've reached the full revenue potential, and that's the reason why the green bar hits the red line. Now take a look on your right at the blue shaded area. I call it blue ocean areas, and the pricing point down below is between $40,000 to $100,000 price point. This is the area where your customers are still willing to pay for solution within that price point. Now all you need to do is to ask them. Right? So let me repeat. All you need to do is to ask them. Right? So now how does knowing this insight impact your business? That you know that the customers are willing to pay more between $40,000 to $100,000 price point. Would you reach out to your highest level clients and understand more what else you can do for them, or even if you don't have the capability, would it be impossible to partner with somebody else that have the capability to solve problem for your clients, so that you can earn a reward, so that you can charge them for that values that you created. Okay, so look on your left with the yellow area and yellow shaded. Now what that means is that you already had revenues and sales in those pricing points, but you have not maximized the revenue potential, and that's the reason why you have a gap between your bar and the red line. Right? So for example, when we did an analysis for a pricing point of $9.97, right, our model suggested that there should have about 426 customers willing to pay at the $9.97 pricing point for a total revenue of $424,700. As a matter of fact, the real data only show they only have 61 customers paying for $997 priced product. Only 61 customers. So that would leave about $363,000, $905 on revenue opportunity that you would have got. So to save time, I tabulated to basically help you identify the profit opportunities from different pricing point. So let's start with the average order size of $17.91, right? So as I mentioned earlier, without my tool or my analysis, you wouldn't be able to identify the areas of opportunities where with the pricing point where you can charge them. And here you go. So we start with $17.91 as the average order size, and we start from at $9.97, which I mentioned to you before. Then we start from $9.97 to $19.97 to $10,997 and all the way up to $100,000. As you can see, each pricing I just grabbed, maybe five different pricing points, and you can add more, right? Depending on how many offers that you have, but you can break it down into smaller one, right? So those are just examples of potential profit opportunity that you can tap into, and those are the type of customer segment that give you the exponential profit that I mentioned about. So here's a recap. Of what's going on. The recap is that the ultra profitable customer segment is in your list and hidden from your naked eye, right? And those customer segments can only be discovered via the profit locator analysis. Those ultra profitable customer segments is happen to all businesses, whether it's small, medium, or too big to fail, right? And as a result, from the case study, those customer segments leads to at least 5 times more profitable than the average sales orders. So those are the recap from the analysis. It's a solution that we've created that allows us to uniquely help and empower our clients. So there are 9 steps involved. The first step is called the agreement. So in the first step, we schedule a call to determine if this service makes sense for us to move forward with. Now, if it does, we take the information from the call and write and just write up a simple letter of agreement, right, which includes all of the revenue share plans and all of the details. Now, if it is to your liking, you go ahead and execute the agreement and send over them the money for the service fee. And once the payment is made, we'll begin on step 2, the planning session. So the second step is basically to conduct a planning session and you will be guided through the ins and out of our intake form, which is the information that you will provide to us so we can have everything to create the best campaign for you possible. And by the end of these planning sessions, you know exactly what to give to us and where to go get it. Step number 3 is about complete the intake forms, right? So the goal of the intake form is to get most, if not all, of these elements from you so that we can craft the best reactivation campaign possible. Now, the beauty of our intake process is that you don't have to be strategic at all. You give us the information, right? More random style, give us everything you got, that we figured out where to put what and how to deploy it to have the maximum profit impact for your campaigns. And by attending the planning sessions on step 2, you know exactly how to breeze through the intake form. And while it's easy to fill out, it takes time. I'm not gonna lie to you, it takes time. The more time that you put into it, the better we can serve you. And at the very least, plan 2 to 3 hours to fill this out. I would prefer you to spend more time, but that would be the estimate, about 2 or 3 hours. Okay, review the intake form, step number 4. And once you complete and submit the intake form, we'll review it to make sure we have everything we need for your project. And we may have a few questions, some point of clarifications or additional insights from your intake form that may require a bit of more information, or may find that we have everything we need. We won't know this for sure until we get a chance to review the intake form. And often we have suggestions like, if you can send this, then this is how it could help make the reactivation campaign even better. Regardless, once we have everything from the intake form, we will begin, right? So next step is to develop the draft campaigns. So based on the data that you provided, we work on the campaigns from writing sales copy, messaging for multi-channels that I discussed before, and this includes the campaign complete with sales copy for multiple mediums and so on and so forth. Essentially, when we're done with this step, we hand you a marketing campaign that could be put into the real world and start making money for you. Review the draft. So in this step, we will check out the completed campaigns for any factual accuracy or any proper positioning, and to make sure it reflects your brand and your product correctly. And lastly, step number 7 is to revise the campaigns. If there were any revisions needed, will be performed in this step, and so you have something you feel confident in from both from the branding and the sales perspective. And step number 8, to deliver the campaign to you. So in this step, once the campaign concept and copy are approved, we deliver the entire campaign to your team. If your package included traditional mailing, such as like shipping and handling, our team will help you manage the entire process until the mailing campaign is shipped and delivered. And step 9, project end. Okay, and so by specializing and focusing in this specific process, it allows us to serve and deliver the result for the right type of audience, such as small business owners, service business operators, sales professionals, B2B businesses, professional practices, info marketers, coaches, trainers, consultants, speakers, and e-commerce. As you can see, we are not the answer for everyone, or in fact, for most clients. This is where we lack our ability to serve, because we can't help you certain things, such as we can't help you improve the quality of your product or service. We can't help you improve your customer service. We can't help you keep your customers from leaving if you don't take the effort or have a process in place to keep them. We can't guarantee that you make money if your offer is not what your customers want. And we can't help you if you don't have customer contact information, right? So if you don't have emails, we can't help you send email campaigns to your customers. If you don't have the SMS, you don't have the phone numbers, we can help you send a text message to them, right? And lastly, we can't help the mindset when your number one priority is how to get more customers, because that's totally a different mindset, a different heart set, or different methodology to help you grow. Now, if you feel that you are the right fit, and here's what you need to know. Number one, I'm going to give you instructions on how to set up your appointment and take one step forward to explore the potential partnership further. And I think really there's just essentially two things happening at the end of these calls. That one, that we feel good about a win-win situation, then we come up with the best way to proceed forward with that in a professional agreement, or the other situation is this: maybe one of us or both decides that it's not just the right time at this time, or it just doesn't make sense. So either way, I'm cool with that, right? If it doesn't make sense to you, then it won't make sense to me. But if it doesn't make sense to you, then we're not going to do business together right now, right? We can remain friends, no hard feelings, and no obligations on either side. And if you aren't sure that you're the right fit, that's okay, right? If you're comfortable, you go ahead and set an appointment anyway, and I'm going to give you instructions on how to set up an appointment very shortly. And however, if you're not comfortable yet, consider these questions, right? Are you looking for someone? Are you someone looking for making more profit out of your existing customers, right? Are you someone looking for generating extra income without a big budget from running ads? Do you suppose it's important to get a second set of eyes on customer retention? And doesn't it make sense to have one objective party explore the ROI of bringing back lost customers, and then use that to determine what we should do together? And if you're not the right fit yet, and here are three things that I would recommend that you would do to put you in a position that if you want to work with us in the future, or you want to partner with us in the future, this will go a long way to that. For the first thing you should do is you need to check out my book, Stop Losing Customer Again, especially on secret number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Right? And the second thing is that you need to continue to build your list and collect as much information about them as possible, because if we were to work together, you will need these informations, to target your customer on multiple channels. And lastly, you develop more offers to cater to customers having higher price elasticity. Now, from the case study, you realize that within the 1,300 customers, there are two customers willing to pay. There are potentially two customers willing to pay for a solution worth over $100,000. So that's the reason why I would encourage you to develop more offers and bring that to your customers. Now, when you do all these things, and then if you decide to come back and partner with us, great, right? If you don't, fantastic as well. Just let me know your results, because I believe these are the three things that anybody in whatever business or field or whatever they're doing follows. They're going to see and meet with success based on our experience. Okay, so just so you know up front, at the end of our consultation, if we both feel good about going forward, and here's the rate for our services. And if you only go for the reactivation campaign only, the rate would be $20,000 plus 3% of the profit sharing, or if you want to do the campaign plus all of the fulfillment, including the shipping and the handling, the rate would be $25,000. And then you would be responsible for all the printing, shipping, handling cost. And also because I can quote you because I don't know how the quantity that you would like to send from the direct mail. So, and then the next one is that if you want to repeatedly run the campaigns, right? Repeatedly run the campaigns, not just one off. The rate would be $25,000, and there's a monthly retainers of $5,000 per month. And again, you are responsible for printings, shipping, and handling charges. So, let's talk about the consultation flows, right? So here's what to do now to book your consultation to explore our potential partnership together. So the first step number one, this is the link that you will need to go to. So at michaelnguyen.me/schedule, and then fill out the brief survey, and then you submit, right? So once you submit, here's what's going to happen next. We find a time to get to the meetings. We find a time that works for both for you and me, and then we jump on the meetings. Now this meeting is specifically designed for you. We will cover things like your current situation, what's working, what's not working, and where you feel there's room for improvement. And we also discuss about your vision of your business, because you can get to where you want to go without taking an inventory of where you are. That's where we will discuss about your situation. We will talk about your obstacles. So until we have a clarity of your obstacle, we can't put together a game plan to overcome them. We have an honest discussion of what's in your way. And then and only then, if it fits, we may discuss potential next steps. This is not for everyone, but if you want, we have a conversation about what else we could do to help you land more customers and never lose them again. So those are the three typical outcomes when we were on the call. We have great outcome, right? So at the end of the call, you feel great when you have a clarity on how much net positive cash windfall that you will get from deploying the reactivation campaigns. You also have clarity on in the offers and the segment of audience to get 2x more profit. You also have a clarity in the project timeline and resources to move forward. Now, besides a great outcome, you have an average outcome when you only get a clarity on how much net positive cash windfall, right? Somewhat unclear about the timeline and resources to move forward. And lastly, the not so good outcome. Which is where you are unclear on how much cash windfall you're going to get. You're unclear about your sales metric. You are unclear if we should move forward. So those are the three typical outcomes from our call together. Now, if you're unsure and if it makes sense right now to move one step further with setting up the appointment, and here's what to consider. If you think that it costs a lot of money to work together, I understand that, and maybe maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's just see if you think, hey, I can get more than what I would invest in this under the right circumstances. Would it make sense to go forward, right? Would it make sense to jump on a call with Michael to see if that's something under the right circumstances, you would get a higher ROI for the investment that you put in. Now, if you're unsure about the time and commitment on your part, let me address that on our consultation call a little bit more specifically. And then if it makes sense, go ahead and reach out to us in the next step. Or if you're unsure if I'm the right fit for the consulting services, it's always if you're unsure if you qualify or not, I'm okay with just finding out, no hard feelings, and don't be shy to reach out to us. Now, it's okay if you're not ready to move forward now, and even if we do the call, there's no pressure for us to partner together. And here's why. Because I don't start and end with will you give me money? Because reactivating lost customers and engaging the existing one is not always the best answers for every single marketing challenge out there, right? And my number one consideration when taking on a client is, will reactivating lost customers and building a system to stop losing customers have a higher probability of making you far more money than what you are paying my company for it. Because if I said yes, that would make me feel so good, and more successful. The more successful my clients are, the more I can earn more, which leads me to, apparently, if you are interested in moving forward with this, schedule a call right away at michaelnguyen.me/schedule. And while the service will always be available, but we are just one small company with limited resource of campaign creation and design professional on hand. So the sooner you respond, the sooner we can begin the work, right?